Welcome back to Brews with the Homies. This is your host, Brews with Dbro. On this episode, we're going to be kind of doing a little bit of a recap. We kind of have a new series that came out, and we got a lot of cool things to talk about that's happened in the last week or 2 weeks. Somebody in the group got COVID. We're not going to single anybody out, but they got COVID. He did the jazz hands. But before we continue, this is Brews with JB.
Yes, sir.
That's Trav Bro over there.
What's up?
And this is Harland Brews. So, fellas, welcome back. We kind of took a week off. We didn't really say we took a week off. There was still episode up. Yes. Everybody was kind of getting back to normal, kind of going around. And I really took this time from the podcast, and there was a lot of cool shit that happened this week.
Yes, there was.
There was a lot of cool shit. I mean, from NBA Topshot to the Summer League to NBA G League team getting announced. Joseph went to had a lazy dog
beer dinner. We did we showed up to a pop-up bottle share at Beer Zombies Warm Springs that Matt invited us to. James went to Boulder City. So we had a pretty busy week. Yeah. And I saw James on Sunday?
Yeah,
I saw James on Sunday at work, and shout out to James. But before we get into all these little topics here, we're going to kind of go ahead and just start drinking some beer. So, JB, go ahead and take over.
So, we're going to start with this Harland beer. It's going to be the Japanese lager, Kuro. It's going to be a black lager. So, little backstory. James and I had this when we were down in California a little while ago. I really enjoy black lagers. Harland Brews loves black lagers, so I brought it back so we could share it together. Now we're having it on the pod. We're kind of having a little bit of a pre-game before the pod just to get everything flowing. But this beer, average rating 3.88. I think it's a little underrated because it's a black lager made with black wild rice and Carafa 3 malt. It's a dark roasted malt that gives espresso, coffee, kind of chocolate vibes to it. It's very mild. So when we smell this, gonna get a nice little roastiness to it. And then even on the taste, I love how it's a mild, roasty, chocolatey, but it's not overwhelming. It's not too bitter. It's just a great overall beer, and I really enjoyed this one. So when you guys are tasting this, what are kind of the notes that you guys pick up, or what stands out to you? Why do you not like it?
First, I like this. It's actually pretty cool. It's remember how I think it was a couple weeks ago where we had a stout where I was like, man, this is a really light stout. It was the Star Wars stout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Where we talked about where it's really light, but the flavor,
good flavor.
Yeah, the flavor is not really strong, but it's there.
Yeah.
And then the smell, you're like, oh my god, this is really coffee. That was the first thing I said was, man, this is really coffee. And then I drink it, I'm like, it's actually very mild, very relaxed. I get a little roast taste at the end. Aaron, you're the coffee guy here. Kind of explain it here.
Yeah, so roast is the word of the day for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of get a slight char out of it, if that makes sense. There's a little bit of bitterness, and then it kind of finishes with that chocolate kind of flavor and notes. So
yeah.
I enjoy it. It's simple. It's a simple beer.
Yeah.
But it also takes you for a little bit of a roller coaster, and it's a light beer, and you can drink a ton of these if you want, or a ton of this if you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. James, what are you thinking about this one? I know stouts aren't
It's all right. Like I said, it's coffee to me.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of coffee. But I feel like I get some hints of rice, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
is there rice in there?
Yeah, it's a rice lager. Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that'd be good. I like to explore the zone of maybe trying it with sushi or something like that. Kind of be in the realm of that.
What about rice pudding?
I would not do rice pudding with it.
Shout out to Blue. I missed that rice pudding.
I dream about that French toast.
So you brought up the rice part, but they do a Japanese lager. It's a rice lager without the dark roasty malt. So you can get all the lager, rice lager, a little sweetness to it without that roasty coffee vibe. So you would probably like the brother or sister beer of this from that.
There you go.
That's subtracted from that flavor.
Right.
So that's why it's kind of cool when they do stuff like this, to where they have a brother-sister beer, to where you could be like, okay, well, this is my jam, this is my jam. So people have their go-to options, or depending on their palate. But I want to kind of let Dbro deep dive into the Summer League action, Topshot, because that was a really cool event. He posted about it.
I got you. I'm gonna take it over from here. So Summer League started 2 weeks ago on Thursday. So we went the first weekend. On the first weekend, we saw Kyrie Irving. We sat next to Kenye Martin Jr. We ran into Daniel Morey, who is the GM of the 76ers. We saw Rob Pelinka. We also saw the man of the NBA, Shams. Gabby actually said, "Sham Bomb!" And he turned around and looked and waved. It was really cool. And then throughout the week, there were Summer League games going on. So, me as a big basketball fan, I was watching it and watching for certain matchups. And then after the first weekend, NBA Topshot, a couple weeks before the event, announced that they were doing a special event for Topshot collectors. They didn't put the date of when you joined. They just said if you have a Topshot account, you are more than welcome to come. So on Friday, they did a gym takeover. And when they did the gym takeover, they were advertising Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye from the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers championship run. Yep. And so on Friday, they rented out a Tarkanian basketball gym, which is 4 courts, which is 2 here, 2 here. And they rented it all out. On top of just having the courts, they also had a barbershop. I'm going to get back to the barbershop here in a second. Yeah. But the event was so cool because they had basketballs everywhere. They had dodgeball set up. They gave us shirts. They were giving out stickers. They were giving out packs. So they did this big ass game of knockout with Channing Frye, and your boy finished second here, fellas.
Oh, nice.
There you go. I choked. I lost to the motherland of the Philippines. Shout out to you, my man. I forgot to get your name and your socials, but congratulations to you. He won an MGLE legendary pack, so he got But it's okay. He deserved it. He beat me. I fucked myself up.
You didn't get no prize?
Yeah, I say, did you get anything?
So the top 4 got an MGLE pack, and I'm still waiting on it. So I'm going to hit up my boy Jacob.
That's what you get when you finish second. They don't
yeah,
give it to you.
It happens. All I got to say is I beat Channing Frye, and that's an NBA champ and a veteran in the league. So if you're listening to this, Channing Frye, I'm sorry you lost, but come on our podcast. But it was a lot of fun because last year Topshot had this. It was just the booth at the Thomas & Mack Center for 3 days. And it wasn't really like no community events. It was just they had a booth there.
Yeah.
This time it was actually really community based. It was a lot of people that are an exclusive group into Topshot. And it's a collection that you can get and join in if you get the collection. And it's called the Cool Cats or the 9 Lives Lounge. And a lot of the members were there. And these are, as a lot of people would say, the whales or the big buck guys. Yeah. So we got a chance to talk to those guys and get a little insight. And one of the guys gave Danny and I a chance, an in-depth look at how he would approach us getting into it. Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil it on here because I want to test this out before I say anything because it's kind of, it's financial stuff. So it's kind of tough because it's a financial commitment and I would rather try it out first before telling you guys. But then they have this cool thing where they announced, which was team captains. So if you have a certain amount of collection of a certain team, you got scored. Well, if you got scored, you got selected to be that team's captain. So I met every single team captain besides the Nuggets, which I was like, how do I meet everybody else?
The one team.
But the one team that I like. But so after knockout, we got a chance to talk to Channing Frye. I asked him a question, and I thought it was a very good question. I asked him, I said, Channing Frye, I said, you've been in the league for 10, 11 years. I said, who is your favorite coach and a coach that you will always remember? He said 3 coaches. And I forgot the third one, but he said Alvin Gentry and Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich. And that's who it was. There you go. Sorry, I knew once I said it was going to come out.
Yeah, we'll get to you.
And he kind of explained why those 3 coaches meant the most to him. And he said that they have taught him lessons, and the lessons that he learned from them has helped him become a better basketball player, a better man, and a better person. So I was like, that right there, hats off. I was really mad that he didn't mention Mike D'Antoni because he played for Mike D'Antoni and played a big role with Mike D'Antoni. So it was kind of crazy. He also didn't mention Ty Lue at all, which I was like, dude, you won a championship with that guy.
Yeah.
So to me, it just feels my thought process that LeBron was the coach and Ty Lue was just there to stand there and look pretty. So, but hey, that's just my opinion. Then Friday, after we did all this, the barbershop was there, and I met the face of Topshot. His name is Jacob. He's the guy that when you're in PAX waiting for your turn, he's the one that's on stream telling you guys, hey, this is what's in the pack. What are you guys excited for? He does all their giveaways and stuff. And we chopped it up with him for 2 hours and got a chance to know him for who he is, not just for the personality that he is on Twitch and on Topshot. We got to talk to him directly. And then I bonded with a whole bunch of Kings fans. And let me tell you, shout out to you guys. You guys almost converted me to a Kings fan, but my love for Jokic and the Nuggets is very strong. Square Bear is one of the co-captains for the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. PPE is another person from the Kings, and Chewy. And the whole weekend, Chewy was doing his Chewbacca Chewy roar. So anytime you went somewhere, you heard a it was Chewy.
There you go.
So it was pretty cool. Got a chance to talk to them and spent most of my week with Squared Bear and the Kings. Cool. There were a lot of cool people. We got a chance to Friday after the event. We had a live show, and this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about, because these guys do this on YouTube. They do it as a podcast. They do it as their own individual thing. They were doing giveaways, and they did a live show. So it got my mindset thinking, what if we did a live show?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully
what if we did a live show where we can try our own beer and have the audience try it with us, and we can take questions from the audience or hear what the audience has to say? I think that would be a fun idea.
Yeah, especially if you could get like the right special guest to like,
yes.
It would be like in the Bite series, since that's working really well, and like that'd be a cool like, hey, we're gonna feature these 4 beers with 4 different guests, and then people could try it with us and ask the questions. We'll run through the experience.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about this, because I knew once I mentioned this, we'll get the creative juices flowing. Yeah. But I got a special shout out here. It's his Topshot name is Mono. Or it's fuck, I'm gonna look it up. I had it here in a second. Sorry,
Ginobili-saurus?
It's Ginobili-saurus. So he is the captain of the Spurs, and we had Ryan with us. And Ryan, it's Gabby's little brother. He's a diehard Spurs fan, and they got to talk, and it was cool to see a grown adult and a kid just hit it off for their passion about basketball. And like this whole last week and weekend has been nothing but basketball for me, and I just got to say thank you, Topshot, for hosting this event. I can't wait for more in-person events. We had a blast. It was cool to connect with the community because everybody there was avid collectors. Yeah. They were avid basketball fans, so it was cool to have all that. But Joseph, you mentioned the Bite series.
Yes.
So this is a series that originally came from this guy over here. He wanted to do an episode that was a little bit shorter, that was a deep dive into beer. And he wanted to come up with some acronym. So it was BITE, or it was BIT, then it was BITE, and then we try to make the acronym work. And the BITE series is us doing a deep dive on a beer or a special kind of drink, a seltzer, or something that is going to be us focusing on whatever is in front of us, because we've realized that we talk about a lot of beer. Sometimes we have 4 beers an episode, we have 2, we have 3, and we just have all this beer. And we figured that what would be a better way to educate you guys at home, for us to take you on the journey when we try beer seriously. Yeah. We have it to where the episode is not hosted by just one person. It's going to be hosted by everybody here or special guests. This is just their way of showing us how to get in, or not how to enjoy the beer, get some flavor profiles, kind of just talk about it a little bit more in depth. So that's what the Bite episodes are. Yeah. And we actually just posted our first one. What was it, on Wednesday?
Or it was Monday.
On Monday. So we posted our first one on Monday, and then we just posted another one. So I would definitely go check it out. If you want us to do a deep dive on a beer that you want us to talk about and kind of go on the journey on, comment.
Yeah.
Let us know. DM us. Let us know on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are. Rate the podcast. And when you're rating it, put the beer that you want us to try.
Yeah.
Say, on the Bite episode, we want you to try this, and tell us where it's from. If you just tell us the beer name, it's going to be impossible. So tell us the beer name and where it's from.
Yep. And then that way, because like the whole point, just sum it back up. It's a quick deep dive into the beer. In 10 minutes, we're going to be able to go back and forth, kind of take you through how we experience it. The different hosts will be kind of a cool look to see how they guide, and then they ask us about it. So yeah, we're really excited to do that. And as we transition, we're going to go straight into, I went there yesterday, Lazy Dog and their beer club did dinner. It's basically like a pairing dinner. So you get a welcome beer, you get 3 tasters with the one of the appetizers, one with your entree, one with dessert. So you have a total of 4 beers. They had multiple options. My favorite pairing was the Voodoo Ranger 1985 IPA. And with that, it was a great combo with the crispy deviled eggs. Because those crispy deviled eggs, I never used to like them in the past, but when I had them at Lazy Dog, I love how they put that candied bacon on top. It just adds a little bit extra texture and flavor that goes really well with the beer. Kind of brought out that like mango juiciness in the beer. So really great time. I really like their Huckleberry IPA. Went really well with the dessert because you kind of get that sweetness, berryness to the beer. We've had that before. I've shared it with you guys. So it was a cool thing. If you ever get to experience it, it's a really good price. You could do it for 2 people. It's $35 a person. Then you can add on the taxes, fees. So it came out to, I think, $45 a person. That includes tip, everything. So great experience. I would definitely do it again. I'd encourage you guys to go try it out sometime. But yeah, anytime you could do a food pairing and get beer involved, it really could get those flavors out. Because they started you off with a jalapeno, the El Jefe from Banger.
Yeah,
So I saw that you checked it in on Untapped before, and it had a lot of kick to it. So to go from that to the Voodoo Ranger second with the appetizer was perfect. So you went from like a little spice, so you had a little heat on your mouth, to like a nice juicy mango sweetness. It was a perfect balance. And
that
then,
sounds like a good time.
How was the food?
The food was great. Like I said, my favorite one was the crispy deviled eggs as the appetizer to go with the beer. But I got the Thai noodles, and it was delicious. Like Thai noodles could be hit or miss,
Right.
like a pad Thai, but this one was delicious. They did their Old Pal Ale, and that one's just like a palate cleanser. It's basic, middle of the road, just kind of ale. Nothing really going on, but it was a good palate cleanser, and then it set you up for that dessert with the Huckleberry IPA.
Nice.
So really enjoyed it. It was a great time. And then on Monday, Matt invited us to a bottle share, so we were all able to come out, have a couple beers. So it was a great time. I think Matt had his buddies Pete and all his friends come out, so they shared a bunch of stuff. It's a great time. It's always good that we could get everyone together.
Yeah, Matt, keep inviting us, by the way.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Just
hang out.
let us know. We'll try to make it. I know I've been bad at showing up. But at least I made it.
Yeah, but
I have the
work
retail
schedules,
life, so.
retail
Yeah,
stuff.
It's a little tough on that one.
But hey, as we're wrapping up, so we got another minute 20 here. I want to go into the last beer. It's Guavacito. It's gonna be
Despacito.
8% ABV. It's a sour ale with guava. The average rating is 4.03. They use 50 pounds of pink guava per barrel when making this. So excited to try it with you guys. Cheers. Definitely get guava and sweetness on the nose. Let's see how it tastes.
Guavacito. So my first question is, James, does this make you want to remix that whole song to Despacito to Guavacito?
I mean, we're gonna have to sit down and write more lyrics about saying Guavacito, but yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is this beer that good for us to do that?
It's pretty good. I mean, you would think I'm drinking guava juice from Hawaii, my man.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
I like
very
it.
light. So if you like sour beers, like sour ales that aren't too heavy or too sweet, this is gonna be like a classic sour. It's gonna be a little bit thinner, lighter body, and classic sour taste. It's not a fruited sour. So The other one that we've liked in the past, Guavacito, was delicious smoothie sour, but it was with King's Brewing, so a lot thicker, a lot sweeter. But this is a good medium, and it's going to be lighter on the body, lighter taste. So,
all right, Mr. Heron, you're
Yeah.
gonna give us the final words here.
All right, so
run it through.
guava is, I don't know, it's sweet most of the time.
Yeah.
Tart sometimes, I would say half the time. This is kind of like having a guava peel in a way. You know, like it doesn't have that crazy sweetness on it. It has a little bit of tartness, not a whole lot. Like it's not like a sour. It's, I don't know, I guess it's inviting, but you would have to think of it more as like a guava peel.
Would you say it's more juice, like a guava juice?
Like
It's like guava water,
right?
It's very thin, I feel. But it has a little
not
sour,
really
but it's not
sweet.
too sour.
Because it's not.
Sweet.
It doesn't remind you of the entire fruit, really.
Right.
Like it doesn't remind you of like the thickness of the peel. It just reminds you kind of like of a muted kind of guava taste.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the Paso guava, like you get it from Hawaii and you get it at the ABC stores here in town, and that's where I'm getting it. But maybe it's not quite as like juicy, I would say. But it's I'd say a little toned down to juice.
Yeah,
like you said, like in between that juice and water.
Because I'm familiar with like Kern's guava juice, and that is considerably sweeter. Like maybe if you added like 12 ounces of water to 12 ounces of Kern's, you know, like
So 24 ounces altogether.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
if you completely diluted it.
So you want to go half and half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you guess it's the 8% though? Because I feel like
No.
drinking this, I was like, oh, this is like a 4%er. That's what
I'd say
kind of
5,
surprising.
6,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think it would be.
To be honest, this doesn't taste like alcohol.
And that's what I'm
That's
trying
what's
to
really
say,
surprising. Yeah.
It doesn't taste like it at all. I'm like, to me, it's an average beer.
You mind if I
to me.
have
No,
some more?
go half one more.
Alright.
Yeah, no,
But-
go ahead. I think this beer is just really
Finishing off, though.
like perfect average. I think this is like one that you can like sneak in between like the good ones. Like if you're doing a share, to drink alone, I think this would be a little bit tough to drink alone.
I think
I think it's more of like a summer
Like a
beer
preference.
pool.
Very summer.
It's also a preference thing, but like for me, I would have a really tough time.
Yeah,
drinking
because
this
it's
by
not
myself.
like that sweet range or just crushable range in terms of like what you like. But for most people, it's like, oh, it's almost like just a light lager, crushable ale. Like you could just pound. So yeah, I think it's a cool mix. It definitely, that's the cool thing about it. James really enjoys it. I enjoy it. It's just
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The teriyaki bowl is really perfect with this.
Ooh,
there you go.
Ooh.
He's
You're on the pairings,
Hey,
man.
do I hear that James's episode for Bite is going to be a pairings episode?
no, he's
That's
gonna bring
what
us teriyaki.
Teriyaki madness, and then bring this back again.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up here. Before we wrap it up, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're not, you can find us on YouTube at Brews with the Homies. And if you're listening to us on audio, we're on YouTube, or not YouTube, we are.
Yes.
We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, and
all the major
podcasts. Our Facebook group is Brews with the Homies, so you can reach out to us there or ask questions or post what you're drinking. Or if you're drinking on Instagram, tag us. It's Brews WT8. And you might not know. We might cheers you, or we might challenge you to a chug. So stay tuned. And before we go, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to rate us. We'll see you next time.
Yep, later, guys. Cheers.